All right, so let's take a look at square root 2x plus 3 equals square root x plus 2 plus 2. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is square both sides of the equation. And remember, it's best to isolate one of the two radicals. In this case, one of them is already isolated, the one here on the left, so we're in good shape. So when we square the left, the square will reverse that square root, and I have 2x plus 3. And on the right, I will multiply out square root x plus 2 times square root of x plus 2. Okay, so thinking about FOIL, really, if I multiply firsts. So when I multiply the square root of x plus 2 times the square root of x plus 2, right? I just want to make sure this is crystal clear. Right, this is the same as, right, the something times itself. So the square root of x plus 2 squared, which is just x plus 2. So when I multiply that radical by itself, I'm just left with x plus 2. Okay, so next, outer. So now I have 2 root x plus 2, so plus 2 root x plus 2. Inside, I get the same thing, plus 2 times root x plus 2. And then last, 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, so that was foiling that out. Now I'm going to take a step back and collect like terms, see what I can do here. Okay, so notice, this I'm really just adding how many square roots of x plus 2 do I have. Right, I have 2 plus 2 are 4 of them. I can add 2 and 4 together to give me 6, and then I just have this lonely x term. So this will be x plus 2 plus 4 is 6, plus 4 square roots of x plus 2. 2x plus 3 on the left. Okay, so I still have an equation that involves a radical, so I want to get that radical by itself so I can square both sides again, which means I'm going to subtract the x from both sides. And I'm going to subtract the 6 from both sides. So when I do that, I'm left with x minus 3 equals 4 square roots of x plus 2. All right, so now I'm ready to square both sides again. And we've talked about this. If it makes sense to divide both sides by 4 or something else at this point, then I would do it. But if I divide both sides by 4, I'm going to end up with fractions here on the left, and I don't want fractions. So I'm not going to divide anything by this 4. I'm just going to square both sides. So that means I multiply x minus 3 by itself. So that will be FOILed. And then this. So really what happens here is, just kind of as an aside, because I want to make sure this makes sense. When I multiply 4 root x plus 2 times itself, because that's what it means to square, notice there's no other operation here. This is all multiplication. 4 times this times this times this, right? I just made an extra dot there I'm going to get rid of. So everything just gets multiplied together. So 4 times 4, or 4 squared, and square root x plus 2 times square root x plus 2, remember, something times itself is just squared. So really what happens is this 2 applies to both of these things, both to 4 and the square root of x plus 2. 4 squared is 16, and that square is going to undo that radical, so that's what I'm left with. Right, so when I square this side, I'm left with 16 times x plus 2. So be careful with that. So now I'm just going to clear these parentheses and kind of see what I have. So x times x equals x squared. Outside will give me minus 3x. Inside will also give me minus 3x. Negative 3 times itself is a positive 9. Distributing the 16 on the right gives me 16x plus 32. Excuse me. Collecting like terms on the left, I can combine these guys. So this is x squared minus 6x plus 9 equals 16x plus 32. I have a quadratic. Let's take everything to the left. So I'm going to subtract 16x. And I'm also going to subtract 32. Okay, so this gives me x squared minus, what is that, 22x. And then when I subtract here, it will give me 23. I can't do simple arithmetic in my head. What is 32 minus 9? 32 minus 9. Yes, 23. So minus 23 equals 0. Okay, so now let's see. This should factor, right? Factors of 23 being 23 and 1. So I think I'm in luck. So we have x and x. So two numbers that multiply to a negative 23 but add to a negative 22. I'm going to go with negative 23 and a positive 1. So right, negative 23 and positive 1 will give me negative 22, and negative 23 times positive 1 will give me negative 23. Bingo. Okay, so now I have x minus 23 equals 0, x plus 1 equals 0, so x equals 23, and x equals negative 1. All right. So now it is important that we check our solutions. Right, this is a radical equation, so I could have extraneous roots. So in order to check, you have to go back to the absolute original. I just made a little mess there. Let's fix that. Okay, so 2x plus 3 equals square root x plus 2 plus 2. Okay, so let's test about negative 1 first. That seems easier. All right, so 2 times negative 1 is negative 2 plus 3 equals, subbing a negative 1, negative 1 plus 2 is 1 plus 2. Okay, so this would give me the square root of 1 is equal to, the square root of 1 is 1 plus 2. So that gives me 1 is equal to 3, which it does not. So this is a no. So that means that's not an answer. Okay, so now let's also check the x equals 23. Okay, so we would have 2 times 23, which would be what, 46 plus 3 equals 23 plus 2 is 25 plus 2. Okay, 46 plus 3 is 49. And square root of 25 is 5. So we get 7 equals 7. And that is good. That's true. So we do have one solution, and it is x equals 23.